What?
Nothing. Hi, welcome to 151 Garage. I'm Sean.
I'm Jill.
And today we're going to finish up the Advanced Fiberglass Concepts kit install. So if you guys don't know, this is the 5-inch wide kit. I did opt for the fender liners.
I would recommend a fender liner.
I would,
because
but
there's components in there that can get damaged if you don't have it.
be ready for a little bit of a fight. So we actually installed this after, off camera. Thank God, because now I actually know how to install it and let you guys know the easiest way to install it. It is kind of a pain in the butt. We do not take off the rear tire. We do it with the rear tire. So it might be easier without the rear tire on, but doing a lot of pushing and pulling, especially to get the fender lined up, we don't want that to be on a jack. I really don't feel comfortable doing that, even though I do have 4 tires and I can chalk it. I really don't feel comfortable pushing on a vehicle quite a bit, sitting on a jack like that.
Now, if you have a lift, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But not very many of us have a lift.
Yeah, but we are going to show you the rear one. We haven't done the front one yet. We have one done, but the other side isn't. We'll go through the process of that. And first things first, we got to take off the whole rear setup. We'll show you in just a second. Bye. Okay, now that we have this all apart, we went ahead and marked it before we actually took it out of where we need to trim out for the holes, as well as these right here were off. These 3 holes, this one, and this one were off quite a bit. Now, if you look right here, let's see. Can you get a flashlight? Now, as you can tell, there is pink right there. That is a paint marker to show you where your holes for that lined up. Now, I could push this all the way up and line them up and get everything set, but the only thing that's going to create an issue is putting those on. That right there is first and foremost, and then all these can be trimmed. The reason that's more important is just because that lines up with the fender, which I'll show you when we go to put it together. I had to drill out these holes, not these, but the ones that connect to this on the fender or quarter. And you know, hopefully with a little bit of trimming and re-drilling, I will be able to get this fender on for the final time and check the fitment of all the gaps and everything. So I'll go ahead and drill it out real quick. Here you go, Joe. Okay, now I have this all re-drilled and this right here off. I'm going to bolt the inner liner to the quarter. A little bit easier to install because once you get these 2 pieces up there, it's kind of hard to line up those. That's where I end up having to remove all that. So here you go. Okay, here's the trick, trying to get this whole section in one piece. Now, you do have to open the door for the reason this right here kind of goes underneath it. I'll grab one of these just to make sure I have
Something to hold on.
Yeah, something to hold on to. So now, even with just a couple threads in, if I let go, it's not going to go anywhere. everything lined up and pushed back into
It sounds
place.
so bad when it goes in. Sounds like we're gonna break it in half.
Okay. Now for getting all the bolts and stuff lined up. I'm not worried about these just yet. I do want to get the hardware up top first.
Okay.
Obviously, you got to put all the bolts back in. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to line up this the way I need, and then the liner. This is the more important piece because this is what people see. The fender liner is just protection. It's not really what you're going to see or look at. Careful with the door. Now it is real tight against the door this way. I need to move the fender liner that way. Also, this right here, I can move the fender liner back and get rid of this lip. So this lip right here, you see, where it should be like that, where it's nice and smooth, it's because the fender is pushed that way a little bit too much. So, as gentle as possible.
Sorry, Diesel.
And not trip over the dog.
Yeah. I tripped over Diesel. Very bad. Need cheese. Now remember, you don't want to over crank on those because you will snap the panel.
That's the two screws. Now, the one thing here is these screws right here are the two places right here and right here. I don't know what that hole is
Here,
for.
you want to show them that? Because it's like black on this side.
Yeah. Flashlight. So what we're looking at is the screw right there, the screw hole right there, and the screw hole right here. Hold that. So I can't. There you go. Right there and right there is the ones I'm actually putting these in. That I have no idea. There's really nothing back there. I don't know why that's there. There was a divot there. I drilled it out, and there's nothing there. So I don't know. It's a drain hole, I guess. Now all these right here are just these regular push pins, like
that.
Push pins like this. So you just push that in, then push the bottom part in. So we'll do this real quick.
Yeah.
Excuse me? Gotta get past you. Now this is a handy little thing. If you do pull panels apart, get it, put all this stuff back in there. Obviously I have different styles. Everything I know where it goes because I've taken it apart so many times. Care to actually admit. And it fit really nice. So the holes that are marked do not line up with the holes that are in there. Obviously the inside of this is fiberglass. versus cloth, kind of a thick cloth, I guess, for stock, or a composite material. It's real flexible. I'll just say it lines up okay, but you're gonna have to kind of figure out where the holes fall into place by doing what we did, or some other method you might know that might be a little bit better. But the paint method actually works because I can tell where they are when I actually go to put them back in. Okay.
Keep going.
So I got these two in. I had to router out the holes a little bit, make them a little bit larger. Obviously this one's a lot larger, but you won't see any of that. This will all be powder or painted flat black. That way it doesn't reflect any light. You won't really see a lot of it. This is the last one I got to get in. So it's that one right there.
Oh, that little dude.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna try it, but I think I'm gonna leave it off because it's just gonna be a real pain to get through. It's a combination of the fact that this is thick and this is only supposed to go through two small pieces of material, is why it's going to have a hard time going in. I can push it in, but I can't thread it in. I did use stainless steel hardware for these because obviously this is going to be in whatever we drive through. In Florida, it may be salt water. Up north, it could be all the salt and stuff.
In Florida, everything has salt in it, so that's why we use stainless steel.
Yeah. Weather. Up north would be the same thing with you guys with
like the snow and ice.
Snow and ice and the salt they put on the road. Ours doesn't have salt on the road, but it has salt all over everything because we do live near salt water. This isn't bad. It took a lot of getting used to where everything's at. I have one last bolt to put on, or last bolt to tighten up, but it's the alignment of everything. It was quite a challenge for making sure everything was just lined up the first time, and also the fact that we made sure that this was connected to this before we put it in, because once you get this all in and try to put this on, these won't line up. They will be extremely hard to line up. At least now, or with it on the ground, I can reach back behind these this panel, the liner, and actually move things over and see where it's at, rather than, because obviously you can't get in here or this way. So it's easier to line up all these off the car rather than on the car. And by the way, you will have to line up these off the car. It is tight because it does kind of, the inner liner does kind of flex this way. So as you put one in, you'll put one in, then you'll put this, then you'll put the next one, then put the last one in. Because if you try to go from here to here, it's not gonna fit. That hole is gonna be up here rather than where my other finger is. So we'll move on to the front after I get this tightened down. Now there you go, inner liner. All the hardware is in, minus that one right there. If there's room, I may put a bolt in there rather than a push thing. These right here, like I said, you're not going to see any of it, but everything else, all the clips are in. And the hardware, obviously the door's not on just yet. Now we have to do that one right there. That'll be fun. Okay, we'll be right back after we move everything around and get the other one set up. Okay. Okay, so we didn't flip the car. We actually had enough room on this side of the garage to actually work in the front and get it installed. Now we aren't gonna remove this one for the camera. We are gonna just kind of tell you what we did. It is the same process. We did put this on as a unit. The Fender, I keep having a hard time saying Fender now since I get yelled at every time I say Fender for the quarter. So this, we did install the Fender and the Fender liner at once. Left the bolts that are under here loose. That way we can kind of maneuver it and slide it whichever way to fit the bolt holes and stuff. There are some things on this one that I really was surprised. So let me show you some of the issues we ran into. Now, get the right light on. Now, if you can't remember, when you have the original Fender liner in, there's two nuts that go, one right there and one right there. Now they do have the holes for them, but they don't go down far enough. So I drilled the holes out for nothing. So it's extra drain holes. If you need drain holes that high, you're probably facing the wrong way or upside down. That one fits. That one right there. These three right here are for a mud flap that actually goes down to these areas right here. So it'll go on. I just haven't put it on yet. I'm not going to worry about it until the Fender's on permanently. This one right here does not line up. In fact, the bolt hole showing that it would line up. Jill, if you want to hold that right there. If I was to drill out the bolt hole for the one that goes supposed to go through there, it would be like right here. Obviously it's not going to fit, and I'm not worried about it. It's actually pretty strong right now. And let me see, that one right there, that one right there, and I don't know what that one was supposed to be. That is a divot right there. There's nothing behind it, as you can tell. There's nothing behind it. So why that one's there, I have no idea. All the bolts are in, and it lines up so far, except for that one right there.
I got fiberglass over my pants.
That's one. Now we will go over to the other side and we'll kind of show you the final product. We did put the little flares on the door and the rear part of the fender, or the rear part of the quarter. I'm gonna get in trouble for that after this video is closed.
Fender, so. Quarter.
Fender liner, Fender liner. Anyways, enough said. I win. Last word.
Fender liner, splash shield, splash guard, quarter liner.
So these right here are not permanently installed. They are just double back tape. I did use really thick double back tape. I didn't want to do the whole thing because I am going to pull these off, send them to paint, bring them back, and then stick them on, as well as the rear section of it. And the main reason is, if I use like Gorilla Tape or 3M tape and I do the whole thing, I don't want to damage this or damage this trying to pull it apart. Once I finally get everything done and put together, then it's your final fitment. The only thing with this that I've noticed that I kind of want to fix when we get to that point is when you open the rear door, you have all this stuff right here, which I wish I could cover this. Obviously, when you close the door, you don't see it. It's covered. But when you open the door is what I'm talking about. I just need to find something to cover this. Maybe I can make something out of plastic, or who knows. I don't know. It's one of those things where I gotta be able to, it's gonna bug me, but that's fine. This right here, I don't know if you guys can see this. This right here, there's a gap here, and I'm just gonna get a piece of, probably like a piece of rubber, what do you call it? Yeah, it's in between the fiberglass and the door. I'm just gonna get a seal that goes right there, like a rubber gasket or seal to fill that in. That way nothing goes in there. Will be pretty decent. But that's what the set looks like. Obviously, like I said, using thinner tape will bring this all the way in. It is actually the thickness of how far this thing sticks out, but
I like it.
it's not too bad. A lot of work. Is it a DIY? Yes and no. Yes, you can do it. It's going to take a lot of time.
You're gonna have to have a lot of patience.
Yeah, a lot of patience. Also, if you know how to do some of the stuff, I'd say yes. If you've never done any of this stuff before, get a professional to do it. You don't want to ruin the kit you just paid umpteen $1,000s for, or your car, which you paid even more for. If you feel like you're able to do it, try it. If it starts getting real rough, take it to a professional. So.
Now the estimates are going to start low, so expect it to go up. That's just how body shops operate.
Yeah. Anyways, here in a little bit, we are going to, and this is going to be all off camera, we're going to do any kind of fine fitment, make sure there's no major issues, adjust, I believe it's adjust the front side of this side. That way everything's aligned, the doors and everything, kind of like we did on a previous video on the last one.
Yeah, our painter contacted us again. Like, are you ready?
Yeah, it's there. Everything's in. All I need to do is do the fine touches and fitment of the doors and any kind of gaps. Like, I don't want this body panel or this body gap to be, you know, kind of wavery like this. I want it to be nice and smooth. This right here, you can see it kind of shrinks down right there, which I'm going to fix that when I go to pull this fender off. I'm going to fix this and put it back on real quick to see if I can get the gap lined up. But we'll do that off camera. We'll kind of go through some of the issues when we turn it in. We will turn it in probably in
a couple of weeks.
Probably by the end of this month, we'll turn it in.
So like next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend we'll have it done. So we got a lot of crunch time to get it. We're gonna do that. In the meantime, we do have a lot of stuff on the interior of this. We do plan on doing a full stereo redo, minus the head unit, for obvious reasons. Yeah, we're not doing a head unit. Yeah, for obvious reasons, everything's controlled by the head unit. We're not going to do that, but we are going to do some new speakers, possibly a sub, a amplifier, stuff like that. So, but that's in a later video. That's where I'm going to have fun. So.
Okay, that's his thing.
It's not. I like designing things. Obviously, I picked a rat rod where nothing fits, and it's just a complete pain in the ass.
And everything on that rat rod, minus the tractor seats, are Ford.
Yes. Anyways, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll have this painted probably by, I'll say by the end of next month. By the end of next month, depending on how busy the painter is.
Yeah, sometime in November, maybe even December, depending on how busy the shop is, because he's got to fit it in between jobs. And we are going to show you, once we get all the panels off, we are going to show you what's underneath those panels and describe what there is. If you're looking for stuff, that's my specialty. Yeah, that's going to be her. She's going to do all that. We'll take this out with no panels and see the reactions of people. So what the hell they got? A skeleton Bronco. No hood, no fenders, no grill, no doors, but we got a roof. We got a roof over our head, but nothing else. Anyways, like, subscribe, hit the notification. Put that all the way back too. We're not even gonna have a roof. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.